Washington, D.C. last night, State of the Union, and I don't know if you've heard, it's an election year in the United States, so kind of a big speech last night for President Joe Biden. A lot of people were watching the energy of the 81-year-old current president. Mistakes were going to be pounced on quickly by some. Not only was the energy a little better than some people thought, but when it came to the issue of the overturning of Roe versus Wade in the states back in 2022, with the Supreme Court, you can see there in the front row, that was a 5-4 vote to overturn Roe versus Wade and restrict abortion rights in the states a couple of years ago. Joe Biden did not pull a single punch with the Supreme Court right there. Listen to this.
It's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you were right about that. Clearly.
Well, that was a scene.
Say it, Joe.
Your thoughts,
Say
Meredith?
it, Joe. Well, you know, I think this was clearly a very important time for him to come out with that type of energy and that type of, forethought and commitment, all those things that people have been kind of razzing him for. I think he showed up as presidentially last night. And also, for that point in particular, that is going to be something that this election really focuses on and centers on, because there clearly is a lot of dissenting opinion there. I mean, it blows my mind. But as we sit here in Canada and we watch, take note and then keep it in mind as we move toward our election year as well, because these are not discussions that are only happening stateside. And especially as we sit here on International Women's Day, when people are coming for our bodies, they're not just stopping at women's bodies. This is something that is about control, and we need to really stay awake to it. And this is a good thing to watch in the U.S. and see how that rolls out.
Couldn't agree with you more. So many issues on International Women's Day. We're talking about wage equality. We're talking about sexual violence that is getting worse in so many countries around the world, as we know. But the issue of the right to control what happens to you, also at the forefront here, and it's gone backwards in so many countries. The Republicans, since that day in the summer of 2022, have lost so many elections in that country at a state level, at a federal level, and no one on the Republican side wants to talk about it. No one. Joe Biden, you just got a preview of what the next X amount of months are going to be heading into this election in that country in November. If there's one issue where you can put it on the table and say Trump is not winning, that's the one. Because Trump put 3 of those justices on that bench, and they were very proud of that. We'll see where this goes. But a very interesting moment last night in the State of the Union at the U.S. Capitol, where there's been a lot of memories made at that U.S. Capitol since the last election.